The night my father died, I made a promise that I would never let my family go hungry again. I had no idea that promise would lead me straight into a mansion full of secrets, a marriage built on lies, and a woman who would stop at nothing to destroy everyone in her way. My name is Maya Delgado. I'm 24, and I grew up in a small apartment in East Los Angeles with a father who drank too much and a mother who gambled away whatever money we had left. This is the story of how I ended up working for one of the wealthiest families in Beverly Hills, and what I found behind those gates. It started on an ordinary evening. My younger sister Nadia and I were sitting at the kitchen table staring at bills we couldn't pay. "Mom, why is Dad always drinking?" Nadia asked. "He only comes home when he's completely drunk. Just leave your father alone," my mother snapped. "What matters is he doesn't forget his obligations to you girls. Even if we live hand to mouth, even if you can't finish school, what matters is we're alive and together. That's what family means." "Mom, when will you stop gambling?" I asked quietly. "If Dad's always drinking and you're always at the tables, what kind of life can you actually give us? Nadia needs school supplies. The electricity's 2 months overdue." "What happens when they cut the power?" "You ungrateful child," my mother hissed. "Can't you see I'm trying? The important thing is you aren't starving." "Get out of my sight before I lose my temper." Nadia tried to soften things. "Mom, please don't be mad at Maya. She has a point. We need to think about the future." "You two are bad luck," my mother muttered and stormed off. That night I made a decision. "I'm leaving to look for work," I told Nadia. "I'll find something stable, something that pays enough to get us out of this. I promise you're going back to school. Take care of Mom while I'm gone and stay out of her way when she's angry." But before I could even start job hunting, everything fell apart. My mother's voice on the phone was shaking. "Maya, your father got into a fight at the bar. Someone pulled a knife. We rushed to the hospital, but we were too late. My father was gone." Through tears, my mother told us what happened. Nadia had been walking home from the library when a boy from the neighborhood started bullying her, pushing her around, trying to grab her backpack. My father, walking by, stepped in and defended her. The boy's older brother came at him, and my father held his ground. Later, the boy's father showed up at the bar, apologized, and even bought my father a drink. They sat together, seemingly at peace. And then, without warning, the man pulled a knife and stabbed my father in the chest. He didn't survive the ride to the hospital. "He loved us," my mother sobbed. "Even though he drank, even though he yelled, even though we never had enough, he proved it today. The man who killed him went to jail, but it didn't feel like enough. A life had been taken over something so senseless. I buried my grief the only way I knew how, by working. 2 days later, I saw a hiring sign outside a massive gated property in the hills, and with nothing to lose, I walked up and knocked. "I saw your sign," I said to the woman who answered. "I'm looking for work. I'd like to apply." She studied me with suspicion. "Why do you want to work here? Do you know us? Did someone send you? Are you a journalist, or did one of my husband's relatives put you up to this?" "No, ma'am," I said honestly. "I don't know you and nobody sent me. I was just passing through the neighborhood and saw the sign. I need a job. I took a chance." Her name was Camille Whitfield, and she made it clear this wasn't an ordinary housekeeping position. "You won't be taking care of a child," she said. "And you're not a regular maid who scrubs toilets and irons shirts. You'll be caring for my husband. He's deaf, the result of a car accident, and he has difficulty speaking. We've gone through many caregivers. Most leave within a week. They can't handle the temper, the silence, the broken dishes. I hope you'll last longer than the others." "That's fine with me, ma'am," I told her. "I just need a job. I really need it. No matter how difficult, I'll do it. I don't give up easily." "Then you're hired. You'll live here with weekends off depending on the schedule. But know your place, Maya. I don't want anyone showing off, playing hero, or getting too familiar with my husband. Do we understand each other? Yes, ma'am. I understand. Before I left that first meeting, she added one more thing, her voice sharp as glass. My husband may be broken, but he's still mine. I had no idea what those words would come to mean. The estate belonged to Ezra Whitfield, one of the wealthiest men in California, and the moment I stepped through those gates, I understood I'd entered a different world entirely, beautiful on the surface, and rotting underneath. One of the housemaids, a woman named Bree, showed me to my room. "You're the new caregiver for Sir Ezra," she said. "Good luck, sweetheart, you're going to need it." "Was it that bad?" I asked. "Why did you give up on caring for him?" "I'm not trying to scare you," Bree said, "but he has episodes. He breaks things, glasses, plates, picture frames, especially when he's frustrated because he can't hear and can't speak properly. He throws things against the wall. Misses. Whitfield screams at him, which only makes it worse. It's a cycle. What happened to him exactly? A drunk driver ran a red light 2 years ago. His car flipped 3 times. He hit his head, damaged his auditory nerves, and it affected his speech. The doctors said he might recover some function over time, but so far, nothing." Bree lowered her voice. "Mrs. Whitfield tells everyone his condition is worsening, that he's practically a vegetable. But that's not true, Maya. He's in there. He's just locked in silence." "It's good she didn't leave him, at least," I said. Bree laughed bitterly. "With his wealth, she'd be a fool to leave. The prenup is ironclad. If she walks away, she gets nothing. If he dies, she gets everything. She's not staying out of love, dear. She's staying out of math." I met Ezra for the first time that evening. He was sitting alone by the window, and there was something in his eyes, not emptiness, but exhaustion, like a man who had given up trying to be understood. I didn't know it yet, but I was about to learn just how cruel his wife truly was. "You useless man," I heard Camille scream at him one morning, not realizing I was in the hallway. "You're so annoying. You have no purpose anymore. You can't hear, you can't speak properly, you can't even walk without assistance. You're a burden, a weight around my neck. And every day I wonder why I don't just put you in a facility and be done with it." I flinched. Ezra sat there silently, staring at the floor, and something in my chest broke for him. Later that day, I brought him his lunch. "I'm sorry about the glass earlier," I said gently, noticing shattered pieces near his chair. He didn't respond, of course, he couldn't hear me. But I sat with him anyway. "You need to eat," I told him, guiding a spoon toward him. "If you really want to get better, you need to get stronger. I don't know exactly what happened to you, and I don't pretend to understand your pain. But I believe that while there's life, there's hope. Just trust that things can change." Over the following weeks, I started something nobody else had bothered to try. I began teaching him to speak again. Slowly, patiently, word by word. "The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog," I'd say, watching his lips struggle to form the sounds. "Very good," again, but faster this time. He was improving, slowly but surely. And for the first time in 2 years, I saw something like hope in his eyes. Camille noticed too, and she was furious. "Didn't I tell you I don't want anyone meddling in our private affairs?" she snapped at me one afternoon, catching us mid-lesson. "What do you think you're doing? You actually think you can fix him? You think you're some miracle worker?" She turned on Ezra with venom in her voice. "No matter what this girl does, nothing will change. You can't get your old life back. You're broken. You're useless. I'm the only woman who would accept you despite your disability. No one else would want you." "Ma'am, please don't be like that to your husband," I said, unable to stay quiet. "You should be the first to support him, cheering for his progress. But from what I see, you're the one dragging him down." Her eyes went cold. "Know your place, Maya. This is a private conversation between husband and wife. Get out of here, or do you want to lose your job? I'm warning you, I don't want this to happen again." I bit my tongue and walked away, but the anger stayed with me. A few days later, she sent me to the basement to move heavy storage sacks alone. despite my request to make 2 trips. I remember carrying the weight down the stairs, my arms shaking, and then nothing. I woke up in a hospital bed with Bree at my side. "You gave us a scare," she said. "Mild concussion, some bruising." "Nothing broken, thank God." "What happened?" "You fell in the basement. Mrs. Whitfield knew those sacks were too heavy for 1 trip, but she made you carry them anyway." "It's like she has something against you." Bree shook her head. "By the way, she left for a business trip, a week, she said. Told everyone to do their jobs properly, and told me to warn you, her words, not to seduce her husband. Can you believe that woman?" I couldn't. But something else was troubling me more than the insult. That evening, Ezra came to check on me himself. "Thank you for finding me," I said, assuming Bree had told him what happened. But then he did something that changed everything. He spoke, clearly, fully formed sentences. "You mean all of this? The deafness, the stuttering, it was an act." "You've been able to hear?" I stared at him, stunned. "No," he said quietly. "I genuinely couldn't hear before, not for a long time, but lately my hearing has been returning. I can hear conversations now. I can hear her. I can hear everything she says when she thinks I'm deaf. And I need you to keep this secret, Maya, please. You're the only person I trust." At this point, I thought I understood the situation in that house. I had no idea just how deep the deception went. "You can count on me, Sir Ezra," I promised. When Camille returned from her trip, she was suspicious the moment she walked through the door. "Where is my husband? Did you seduce him while I was gone? Did you climb into his bed and tell him you could replace me?" "Of course not, ma'am," I said, keeping my voice steady. Later, I overheard her cooing to him about the trip, about how much he must have missed her, completely unaware that he now understood every word. That same week, I accidentally spilled something on one of her designer blouses. "Do you have any idea how much this blouse cost?" she shrieked. "Do you know who designed it?" Ezra, still pretending, quietly said, "Let it go, let's just eat." Her eyes narrowed on him with suspicion. "Why are you defending that girl? Are you attracted to her? Have you been sleeping with the help while I was away?" "What? No, I can't believe you're asking me this." That night she fired me. "You're a snake," she spat at me, her face twisted with rage. "You slithered into my house, pretended to be innocent, and seduced my husband. You're a disgusting, desperate little girl who thought she could take my place." "Please, ma'am," I begged, thinking of Nadia's tuition, of my mother, of everything riding on this job. "I really need this. My family depends on it. I'll stay away from him completely. Assign me anywhere else, the kitchen, the laundry, the gardens." "Please?" "You're leaving right now," she said coldly, and had my things packed within minutes. She even accused me of stealing jewelry, though nothing was ever proven. I left that mansion in tears, certain I'd never see any of them again. But what happened next completely changed everything. Weeks passed. I found myself back home, working odd jobs, trying to piece together enough money to help my family. Then one evening there was a knock at our door. "Does Maya live here?" a man's voice asked. It was Ezra. "Sir Ezra, what are you doing here?" I asked, stunned. "Does Mrs. Whitfield know you're here?" "She doesn't know," he said. "Can we talk privately?" "It's important." We stepped outside, and what he told me left me speechless. "Whatever Camille told you about stealing, I know it wasn't true," he said. "I know her true nature now. She's not the woman I married, she's someone else entirely." He paused, his jaw tightening. "I thought I was going to be a father. She told me she was pregnant, but it's all been a lie. She's been having an affair with Lance, my own business associate, and I believe they've been planning to steal from my company, drain my accounts, leave me with nothing." My stomach turned. "Oh my God." Last night, while she thought I was asleep, I heard everything. She called me a fool. She laughed about it with her lover. "I want them to pay for what they've done, Maya. But I can't do this alone. I need someone I trust, someone who's already shown me what real kindness looks like. I need evidence, recordings, documents, proof of the affair." She's careful, but she's also arrogant. She believes I'm still deaf and helpless. She'll talk freely if she thinks there's no risk. What do you want me to do? Go back to the mansion. Beg her to give you your job back. Once you're inside, confront her, tell her you know about Lance, about the affair, the embezzlement, the fake pregnancy. She'll deny it, laugh at you, but in her arrogance she might slip and admit something. And while you're doing that, I'll be recording everything from the next room. I hesitated only for my family's sake. Fine, I'll help you. But please make sure my mother and sister aren't dragged into this. I promise your family will be protected, he said firmly. The next day, I returned to the estate, humbled, apologetic, practically begging Camille to take me back. She sneered the entire time, delighted by what she thought was my desperation, until I mentioned the black Mercedes, the man who dropped her off. The conversation, I'd overheard about her plans against Ezra. Her face went white with fury. What did you tell my husband? I haven't told him, I said calmly. But maybe you'd like me to tell him right now, unless you give me my job back immediately. She laughed it off, mocking me, certain I had no proof and no power. Even if you tell Reed what you heard, do you think he'll believe a poor girl from East LA over me? You have no evidence. Then in her arrogance she confirmed everything, the affair, the plan to inherit his fortune, the truth about the baby not being his. Every word was captured on the recorder in the next room. Ezra offered me a position as his secretary shortly after. Real, paid, respectable work. The kind that could finally get Nadia into community college. And with the evidence gathered, he was ready to move. The confrontation happened at his company headquarters, in front of the entire staff. "Ma'am, I apologize, but you cannot enter," a security guard told Camille as she tried to storm inside. "Those are the owner's direct orders." "I am his wife," she snapped. "This is my company too." But it was too late for her outrage to matter. "Reed, Ezra, you can hear," she stammered, seeing him standing there composed, clear-eyed. "Yes, Camille," he said. "I can hear now, and I heard all of it, every cruel word, every lie, every plan you made with your lover to destroy me." Police officers stepped forward. "Miss Camille Whitfield and Mr. Lance Hendricks, you are under arrest for theft, fraud, and adultery. You have the right to remain silent." "You'll regret this," Camille screamed as they led her away. This isn't over. But it was. If I had known just how far Camille was willing to go to protect her secrets, I might have hesitated before walking back through those gates. But I didn't, and it changed everything. In the months that followed, Ezra worked tirelessly to rebuild his company, recovering the money Camille and Lance had siphoned into offshore accounts. And through all those long nights of paperwork and legal meetings, I stayed by his side. "Why did it have to come to this?" I asked him once. "Didn't you love her?" "I loved her deeply once," he admitted. "But after my accident she changed. She was always busy, always leaving, always finding reasons to be away." I couldn't hear what she said back then, but I could feel it. The way she belittled me behind my back, counting the days until I was gone for good. My love for her died along with hers for me. "But she's pregnant," I said gently. "Why not just separate quietly instead of suing? If I don't hold her accountable, how will she ever learn?" She never once asked for forgiveness, only got angry and threatened me. If sorry could fix everything, what would we even need laws for? He had a point I couldn't argue with. Somewhere in those months of rebuilding, something else was growing between us, quiet, patient, real. He took me to a small carnival one evening, our first outing that had nothing to do with lawsuits or evidence. "Thank you for making me happy, Maya," he said as we walked beneath the string lights. "If you hadn't come into my life, I'd probably still be in my dark world. You gave me light when I had forgotten what it looked like." "Thank you for coming into mine too," I told him. "Because without you, I'd probably still believe all men were the same, damaged, destructive, destined to disappoint. My father was an alcoholic." He only came home drunk, but he always brought food for us. I grew up watching that contradiction, the damage and the love he couldn't express properly. When he died protecting my sister, I finally understood. It was too late to tell him, so I just tried to honor his memory instead. That's a painful way to grow up, Ezra said softly. But I admire your strength and your ability to see good in people even when they've shown you their worst. Then he said something I never expected. Maya, I know this is fast. I know I've just ended a marriage, but I need you to know I'm falling in love with you and I'm not afraid to say it. I'm falling for you too, I admitted. But I'm scared. I've been scared my whole life. Then let's be scared together, he said, but let's not run away from it. Camille was sentenced to 18 months. Lance, true to his character, violated himself out and abandoned her the moment things got difficult. When Ezra and I visited her in prison, she was a different woman, humbled, remorseful, carrying the weight of everything she'd lost. Please forgive me, she said through tears. For everything I did, I regret it all, every cruel word, every lie, every betrayal. We're here because Maya wanted us to talk, Ezra told her. She wanted us to fix the brokenness between us, not with false reconciliation but with honesty. I forgive you, Camille. The pain is still there, but I'm glad you understand your mistakes. I hope when you're released, you change, especially since you're about to have a child. Everything between us is over now. Maya is the woman who fills my heart. But if you ever need help finding work, a place to stay, support for the baby, I'm here as a friend. How did I deserve this kindness? Camille whispered. You should hate me. Because everyone deserves a second chance, I told her, and we can see that you truly regret what you did. Not long after. Ezra took my hands in his and asked me to close my eyes. Why? I laughed. Just do it. When I opened them, he was down on one knee. Maya, since you came into my life, everything changed. So here I am before you asking, will you marry me? Yes, I said, tears spilling over. Yes, Ezra, I will marry you. Years later, Camille was released, and to everyone's surprise, Lance came back into her life, apologizing for abandoning her and their son. She forgave him for the baby's sake, and the two of them showed up to our own son's birthday party with a gift in hand. I want to apologize, Ezra, Lance said, humbled in a way none of us expected. For betraying your trust, for everything. I've changed. I'm doing honest work now. I want to be a better man. It's okay, Ezra told him. Let's forget the past. What matters is the present. That same year before the party, I visited my father's grave with Nadia and my mother. Dad, it's been so long since you left, I said quietly. So much has happened. We wish you were here, but we know you're watching. I'm sorry we couldn't save you. I'm sorry we didn't understand you better while you were here. But I want you to know we made it. We survived. Nadia's an engineer now. Mom is doing well, and I found love. I found someone who treats me the way you always wanted me to be treated. Some nights, when the house is quiet and my son is finally asleep, I think back to that hiring sign outside a stranger's gate, how close I came to walking past it, and how different my life would look if I had. Whatever your struggles are right now, I hope this story reminds you that things can change, even when it feels impossible. There's no such thing as giving up for those who keep fighting. So tell me, if you were in my position, would you have taken that job? Would you have trusted a man everyone else had written off? Let me know in the comments where you're watching from tonight. And if this story moved you even a little, please hit like, subscribe, and share your thoughts below. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next story.